Hi there Year 4 and welcome to your next online social studies lesson. We're continuing our work on ancient civilizations and today's lesson is the first of a couple of lessons based around the Islamic civilization. As with previous lessons, there's a couple of different learning objectives to explore today. Our main one, which I've put in bold for you, is to learn about the origins and spread of early Islamic civilization. You should recognise the other two learning objectives based on the work that we've already been doing over the last couple of weeks. Key vocabulary for today is as follows: the Silk Road. Now, you're going to find out more about this later, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is right now because that's the focus of today's lesson. Trade. Trade is the act of buying and selling goods. Civilization. This is the way a group of people would live. We're thinking about a civilization as being an advanced culture and society where they were settled and they were maybe less nomadic than previously. Economy. This is to do with the countries buying and selling their goods and the supply of money coming in and out of that country. Economic growth is how producing more and more goods, the country grows and the economy grows over a period of time. For today's resources, I've listened to your feedback from previous lessons, thank you for that, and I've tried to make locating resources as clear as possible for you. So first of all, the video that I'm currently making now, once I've finished recording the video, it will be uploaded to Google Classroom. So you'll be able to find it in two places, one on Seesaw and one on Google Classroom. So if you need to hop over to Google Classroom now, that's absolutely fine. The Google Classroom code is the same as previous weeks, and all the resources for today's lesson are under the topic called Islamic Civilization. The resources are optional, and I'll point out those in a moment for you, and there's no requirement to use all of them, or you might not use any of them at all. The focus of today's lesson is trade. Let's head over to Google Classroom, which I've already loaded up for you, and I've tried to label the resources clearly for you to help you navigate around them as well. So you should be able to do this without a parent. You'll need in a moment activity 1, which is called the Silk Road, and that's a video to watch. There's then a couple of different activities which I've called the main task. The Duxter's website and Trade Along the Silk Road website, they're optional if you need them, but they're a good source for information for later on. Your Crown tasks are under the main task Crown Maps, and you'll need to choose one of the maps to help you out later. I've then put some different optional tasks for you. I've got 2 videos which you might choose to watch, and finally an optional support task at the bottom. I'm not going to tell you more about that one just yet because you'll need that one later on. So that's the Google Classroom. Please use on the Classroom what you need to help you out. Let's head back to today's lesson. So trade along the Silk Road. You will need to go over to Google Classroom yourselves and load up activity 1, the Silk Road video. It's a short video just explaining to you what the Silk Road was. Whilst you're watching the video, think about the following questions. You don't need to write your answers down. Why was it called the Silk Road? Why was the trade route a good thing? And were there any aspects about the trade route a bad thing or negative? So head over to Google Classroom, watch the first video, and then either come back to Seesaw to finish watching this video or stay on Google Classroom where I've also loaded the video for you there. Trade, the Silk Road. A summary of the video. The Silk Road was a vast trade network connecting Asia, Europe and North Africa via land and sea routes. The Silk Road earned its name from Chinese silk, a highly valued commodity that merchants transported along these trade networks. Advances in technology and increased political stability caused an increase in trade. The opening of more trade routes caused travellers to exchange many things: animals, spices, ideas, and diseases. So when I ask you to think about all the positives about the Silk Road, there's obviously lots with regards to trade and exchanging knowledge and goods, but also as well, it was a way that disease did spread around parts of Europe and Asia because of these travellers going from town to town. So that's a negative. Have a think about this question. Why might economic and political growth and stability cause more trade? Let's think about a possible answer. Transporting goods was dangerous and expensive. Economic growth tends to cause more people to have more money to spend. If their basic needs are met, extra money allows people to buy things that they want, as opposed to things that they need. This made transporting expensive goods more worthwhile. Political stability was also important to trade. If a single government controlled and policed much of a trade route, this could reduce the danger of travel. This is what the Silk Road might have looked like. This is based on archaeological evidence and also what we know from stories and history and different sources. You can see it's not one single road going from east to west. In fact, it was made up of many, many different roads, and over the years and centuries, those roads and routes expanded. Also, the route went over sea, and we'll look at the sea transport a bit later on. So although it's not called the Silk Road, this was also a trade route, and you can see those marked in blue on this map. Travel on the Silk Road. Traders had to find ways to move their goods efficiently. To travel overland, the camel was favoured mode of transportation. Nomadic peoples in Central Asia started domesticating animals as early as the 2nd millennium BCE. For example, the Han Chinese, which is an empire, used camels to carry military supplies. Camels could withstand the harsh desert conditions through Central Asia and were also able to carry up to 500 pounds at a time. Pack animals, especially camels, made the transportation of goods over land on the Silk Road viable. Merchants and sailors made use of the ocean to transport goods too. Sailors needed a strong understanding of wind patterns and storm systems to successfully navigate the oceans. For example, in the Indian Ocean, monsoon winds blew from the northeast in the winter and from the southwest in the summer. With a southwestern wind pushing them east, merchants were able to travel from the Red Sea between Egypt and Arabia to India in the summer and then back to the Red Sea in the winter. This information was exchanged among sailors and made its way beyond the Indian Ocean. For your task today, I want you to think about what you've learnt already about the Silk Road and to use some of the websites that I've suggested. I want you to imagine that I'm a merchant trader and I've got a bit of a shopping list which you can see on the right hand side there, and I want to know where I would be getting those different items from along the Silk Road. So if I'm your customer with the following shopping list, where would you be able to source these goods from? I've put a copy of the map template on Google Classroom, and I would like you to use your annotation tools on the iPad. That could be using markup, or you could be using Seesaw or another appropriate app of your choice. I would like you to locate as many items as you can. Don't worry if you can't locate all of them. And remember, I've put some support materials on Google Classroom to help you out as well. As an extension task, if you've got time, can you try and sell me some more items along the Silk Road? What would you try and sell me, and where would it come from? Let's have a look at an example together. So here, I've got the White Crown map. Now, the difference between the different crown challenges today is the amount of detail on the map. So choose a crown challenge suitable for you. This is White Crown. In the white text boxes, I've got the different locations around Europe and Asia along the Silk Road. And I've started to put down where some different items came from. So for example, paper was often sourced from China, cotton sourced from India, and ivory sourced from West Africa. And I've used my text tool on my app to put those different boxes on. Using my shopping list, any other items that you can find out as well, can you place the different items along the Silk Road, where you would find them, and where the different merchants would have traded from? Let's go back to Google Classroom, just have a quick reminder of where those resources are. So you've already watched Activity 1, which was the video. You can use the Ducksters website and also Trade Along the Silk Road website for the main task to help you. The Crown task is the next box down, and you can choose a map suitable for your challenge today. The optional videos are the next two boxes down. And lastly, the bottom one, additional support material. If you're really stuck today, I'm not going to load it up now for you, but use that resource and see what help I've given you in that additional support. So this is the Crown Task Maps. Choose a map suitable for your challenge. You can take a screenshot of that map, and then you can use Markup or another suitable app to then annotate that map with those text boxes and where you're going to find that detail. So here's the Blue Crown map, and you can see it's got the Silk Road already marked on there. You just need to locate the different items that would have been sold along the Silk Road. Let me know if you have any problems. I look forward to seeing your work.